Support Laneside. Get something cool.
There I am! Okie dokie! Hello, everybody! I am Mr. Interesting.
No. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drill Room episode number 20! 20 shows in. Thank you for joining us tonight. As always, I am the Bearded Beast, Rob Johnson. And tonight we've got a whole host of things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the PBA playoffs and PBA 50 event that happened this week. We're going to be talking a little bit more about getting ready for tournaments. Not only are we going to talk about arsenals, but we're going to talk about the things that don't often get talked about when you're getting ready for events. Then we're also going to take a preview of the Envision and the Kinetic. We have those videos coming out this week. We also have the new release list. You guys seemed really interested last week when I put together some of the new releases, and we talked a little bit about talking about some of the other releases going on. So I thought I would check the old USBC approved list as well as the PBA approved list and find what new goodies have been approved. We'll try to sort through and figure out if we can see if they're overseas or not overseas. And from there, we'll also take questions, comments, and whatever else you want on this show. As we always do, this show, The Drill Room, is for bowlers. It's a chance for us to interact a little bit more one-on-one rather than the cruel, cold, and unkind comment section that we find in places like Reddit and YouTube. But if you are looking for us, don't forget to look in those spots. YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, which you are right now, as well as Instagram and other places. Just look for hashtag TEAMLSR. You can also look up hashtag Laneside Reviews, and look up the Bearded Beast. So, we're just coming through right now, letting people get on, because I know that we're on a Thursday rather than Tuesday. I got a lot of messages from people when I asked last week on what day they preferred. A lot of people said Wednesday, a lot of people said Thursday, so we're going to give the Thursday a try out for the next little while going through, and if that doesn't work, then we'll switch back to Tuesdays or another day. It's about you. So, why don't we head over to the interwebs? And this week we had a couple of events going on. Excuse my nose. We had a couple of events going on this week, starting with the Kia PBA playoffs. It was actually a pretty good show. I'm bottle gating. Somewhere Sean Rash is having convulsions. It was actually a pretty darn good show. As I had said prior, if Sean Maldonado's back was still hurting him, I didn't think he was going to have much of a chance against AJ. And AJ really performed. Really performed. Hats off to him. He did it. I feel bad for Sean because, this was all taped together and we're seeing it kind of, secretly taped. Sean's gone on and after this event, he's had a chance to heal his back up. He's actually gone on and won in a regional last week. So I really would have loved to have seen this matchup with Sean being healthy. But that's how events go. You know, how you are on the day, how you feel on the day, how your mental, physical health is. All those things affect us. So, you know, hats off to AJ on that win. And then TJ. You know what? I said that too. I called him. I said if Urethane's in play, Jesper's going through. If it comes down to, you know, really hooking him and playing him, you know, we know that Tommy's going to be good. And, well, Tommy won. So now we're looking at Chris Prather versus Kyle Troop. That match is going to be pretty wild. Battle of Storm versus Rotogrip. Shark Kent versus the Fro. You know, that's a WWE match just waiting to happen, I think. These guys need like ring entrances, no capes. But like they need all the things. They could have a lot of fun with this one. As for who's gonna win, I would not want to be an odds maker on this one. Chris Prather's been bowling really good. Kyle Troop is Kyle Troop. If I was to put money on something, I would probably take Chris Prather. He has been bowling really well on this pattern. He's been making it look really easy, more than any other bowler. So if I've got to take somebody with them being so evenly matched, I got to take Shark Kent. And then Tommy versus AJ, I'm going to take Tommy. Tommy just has a way of finding a ball roll, especially on TV. He just finds ways to win. AJ's really, you know, a very good bowler. He took down Sean Maldonado. But I don't know if he has the experience to knock off Tommy. Nothing to do with his abilities. He's an incredible bowler. I just think Tommy is that much better, potentially. So, yeah, I'm picking Prather versus Jones in the final. And then from there, I don't want to handicap the finals. If it's Prather versus Jones, I still think I have to take... The bowler in me wants TJ to win. The performance, like the coach in me watching them bowl, I'd have a hard time betting against Chris Prather winning another PBA playoffs here. I'd love to know what you guys think, because it's definitely... Hey Kyle, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. It is a real tough call. Like Prather, how do you bet against Prather? Everyone talks about how good Anthony Simonson is. I don't think Prather gets enough credit, and he gets a lot of credit. So it's tough. It's very, very tough. From there, we also had this week PBA 50 Gainesville, and we've got Senior Barnes. Now that Ryan is out there competing, we gotta make sure we don't just call him Barnes. He's got to be Chris Barnes or Senior Barnes. He runs it. Look at this. Look at the list he beat. So I mean, the people in the top 5 here: Chris Warren, multi-time regional champion, PDW. Tim Adcock, I don't know as much about, I'll be honest. But then you've got reigning PBA 50 Rookie of the Year, Tom Hess, and then Chris Barnes. Like, that's not exactly... that's not easy. Like, Adcock going through Warren and Weber, hats off to him. Because that's a lot of bowling. That's a lot of bowling. And then Barnes knocks him off and then goes against Tom Hess, who really, I mean, he had some trouble at the beginning. He had built himself a little bit of hole and then ends up almost, I mean, he only loses by 20 pins. That's an open. That's pretty good. Excuse me. But yeah, so we've got Chris Barnes picking up the W. So congratulations to him. I've met Chris a few times on tour. Such a nice guy. He's not a Brunswick guy, but I still think he's awesome. Let's talk about tribalism for a second here, because this comes up a lot. I often say, I'm not a Brunswick guy, but, and we hear people say things similar to that. As a staffer, we are, we take pride in our own product. And because of that, you often won't hear us talk about other staffers, good or bad. A lot of staffers are afraid to talk about other brands. But I've always maintained every major company out there makes incredible equipment. I have been blessed to work with a brand that matches up with my type of game, my style of game. I could choose not to be with Brunswick. I'm offered a contract like everybody else every year. I could choose not to be with Brunswick. I choose to because they make such incredible product, in my opinion. I think the 7 brands offer such a wide variety. I have everything I need there. But I think it's important that as bowlers, because we all are bowlers, we remember to take time to congratulate people, regardless of their brand, regardless of what country they bowl for. Got to remember to congratulate people. Like Chris Barnes is a hell of a guy. And some people are afraid to put out on social media, congratulations to a guy because, they're a Motive guy and he's a 900 Global guy, or, I'm a Brunswick guy and he's a 900 Global guy. But that doesn't help bowling. That kind of tribalism in that way doesn't help bowling. It limits how much coverage we give to bowling because we're not willing to share as much stuff. Share it all. I think we need all of the coverage bowling can get. All the good coverage. So congratulations to Chris Barnes. He's a hell of a guy, and he deserves a win. Tom Hess, I bowled the World Series with him. Super duper guy. Funny story, we were bowling, and he gets up on, I think it was 8 or 9 in a row, forgets to take his shoe cover off, goes to throw, goes to slide, stops, does a machuga flop, does not let go of the ball, hits the ground hard, does not let go of the ball, gets up, dusts himself off. He's looking around like, did anybody see that? Of course, everybody's seen that. He's a bigger gentleman. Like, he's a big dude. Takes his shoe cover off, dusts himself off, pures it, strikes. He is an awesome guy, too. Very, very friendly. In my experience, being out on tour, talking with people, being a player out on tour, interviewing people, Tom Hess is a genuine guy as well. Super, super nice. And takes time for people. I really like that. Before I really knew him, he took time when our show, when Laneside Reviews, we did the Going Pro stuff. He took time to sit and talk when a lot of other people wouldn't. So I'm a big Tom Hess fan too. Don't care what brand he's on. He's a nice guy. So, Scoop, I lost interest? Oh, poor Scoops. Simo's very animated, and Prather is a cool, calm shark waiting to bite his prey. I like that. That's pretty good. Good evening, Vincent. Yeah, it's a pretty big gauntlet. I'm a throws everything guy. If you're not under contract to a company, I've always said throw whatever. Throw the best of each brand that's available to you, because you want to be able to have the best reactions in your bag. The game of bowling isn't about having the nicest arsenal. It's about having the highest score. I haven't gotten the chance to meet Tom Hess. Tom is super, super nice. Tom is awesome. There are some guys on tour that I would highly recommend talking to if you ever get a chance. Norm Duke, one of the classiest, nicest, most genuine people you'll meet, with a memory like an elephant. He recognized Scoops from across a room and ran over and jumped on his back. Just such and so understated, just very calm. I mean, he can get animated, but just a very calm, nice guy to talk to. That's cool that you got to bowl with him. I bowled with him a few times. So Duke's good. Tom Hess is a great guy. Chuck on the Truck, Chuck Gardner, a wealth of information, but also a friendly man. Tom Smallwood, very down to earth, very easy to talk to. Parker Bone, I'm pretty sure Parker would give you the shirt off his back and the kidney out of his body if you asked. Like, that man is on another level of giving. But yeah, there are some really good guys on tour. Jason Sterner. Jason's a great guy, very stand-up guy. Jason Belmonte, I've talked about him many, many times. He's been always very, very nice. He's a guy who doesn't have to be friendly, not in the least bit, and has always treated our show very, very nicely. And it doesn't hurt that he's a really nice guy. You know, I wouldn't call him a guy I could call on the phone, but I would call him my friend. Very nice guy. Ooh, that's cool. I got a green pen. I'm sorry. Chris Vi, I bowled the Masters a couple of years ago when I broke my ribs. I bowled with Chris Vi and Anthony Pepe and a few other guys. Chris was very nice. He actually he was really concerned for me when I broke my rib. He was like, "Are you sure you want to keep bowling?" And I probably should have stopped. But he's a nice guy. Anthony Pepe, there's a great guy. There's a guy who does not get enough credit. Hands down, he may not look like... He looks more like a model or like an Instagram model than he does a bowler. Very knowledgeable. He has serious chops. Give the guy a chance. Take him aside and ask him just to talk bowling. Sometimes he comes off a little shy, but I spent a day hanging out with him at Astoria Bowl in New York, and he's a funny guy, really friendly, really nice. Him and Mikey's Pro Shop is where I get my... Cool, very cool. There's a TV show out now with Tom Smallwood. Let's not talk about how we roll. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about how we roll. I wasn't going to talk about this. I support bowling on television. I think that having a show on TV based around even loosely bowling is wonderful. Sometimes I wonder, and I would love to ask Tom what he thinks about the show. As a show about bowling, it is really poor. I've said this before, I think even on the show here. If you look at other people who have played bowlers, they took time to learn how to bowl. Bill Murray could bowl. Woody Harrelson at least learned how to make it look good, so when they went to his stunt double, it looked similar. Michael J. Fox and Greedy spent like a month on tour learning from the guys out there so he could make it look good. If you're going to make a show about bowling and talk about it being about bowling, let's have some bowling! bowling stuff. Come on. I think Peter Holmes, the guy who's playing Smallwood, is doing a great job with what he's got. I can see that they've turned it into kind of a formulaic CBS-style comedy, which is fine. They've definitely taken some liberties with the timeline and Tom's experience to make the Pete Holmes character a little bit more sympathetic. It does kind of make Tom looks simple, like they're trying to say that he's not smart. Tom's a pretty smart guy. So I'm not a fan of that. It takes some shots at bowling that I don't like. I think they had an opportunity to be a little truer to it. And they've kind of taken the low road with some of it. The show is good. I think the show is very good. I just don't like the way the bowling's represented in it. If it's a show about a professional bowler, they should have somebody who can bowl. They could not. They've dumbed it down a little bit so that people who don't know bowling can understand it, and I'm fine with that. But if you're going to represent a professional athlete and one of the ability of Tom Smallwood, I would have liked to have seen them take a little higher road, represent him as the champion that he is. I know they're kind of playing him as an underdog, but he looks... It's the wrong kind of... In my opinion, it's the wrong kind of underdog. I don't like it. But that's me. That is my opinion. I'm just happy to have some bowling on TV. I would love to see like some more serious stuff done. That would be kind of cool. Why don't they do a bar rescue for bowling centers? Bring somebody in and redo them and make them all nice and stuff. Take the bowling industry on in that way. That'd be cool. But at least we have bowling on TV. So, I mean, whatever. On with the show. I'm on board with what you said. Yeah, just represent it a little better, a little nicer. I mean, as the seasons go on, this is season 1. So if it continues from here and he gets on tour, they're going to have to make him look... they're going to have to make him look more competent. Because Tom... We haven't heard a lot from Tom this year. But over the past decade, Tom would be in, I would say, probably in the top 10 bowlers on tour year over year. At least top 20. Like, he is a very, very good bowler. So, hello, Scooby S. That's one of our new viewers. I hope they're pretty. I know who it is, don't worry. So let's move on from there, and we're going to go to... Let's talk about tournaments. Oh, wait a second. Bowling needs something like Drive to Survive. Yeah, that'd be cool. There's a movie that came out a few years ago, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, about when the tour rolled over from the old tour to the exempt tour. That showed a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I'd love to see them do another one of those with kind of updated, showing how the tour has evolved and where it's gone to from there. Maybe trace where some of those bowlers went. That'd be pretty cool. So let's move on to Arsenal prep. So if you follow me on Facebook, you will know that I have an event coming up this weekend. And if you don't follow me on Facebook, well, now you know that I've got an event coming up this weekend. It's the Last Players Tour for Ontario. They've been run for the last few years by a group. And I'm not sure, I could be wrong on this. I think Joe Kayak is either the front of it or he's the person that just advertises it for them. But he's kind of been the face of it as long as I remember the tour the way it is. And this is the last one coming up this Saturday at Planet Bowl in Etobicoke, Ontario. what I like about these tours is they don't use a lot of WTBA patterns. They use a lot of challenge patterns, collegiate patterns, unusual patterns, stuff that you don't always see. So they might tell you, you know what, you're going to see a 41-foot pattern, or you're going to see a 40-foot pattern, you're going to see a 45-foot pattern. And then if you're really lucky, they might announce what the actual pattern is the day before the tournament. But for the most part, you're going in with a length, and then you have to make your decisions based on kind of, you know, the information that you have based on the center and the pattern length, at least. And you go to these events and bowl. And, I mean, we've had some huge winners, competitors from all over, PBA players, amateurs, excuse me, national team members, people from literally everywhere. So I decided, as part of being a coach, being an effective coach, I feel like it's important that I get out and experience what it's like to be on the player side of things, on the athlete side of things. As a coach, sometimes you spend so much time away from it, you make assumptions about how a player should feel, what they would be doing, what they've been going through, and, you know, players change, athletes change, situations change. So as a coach, I like to get back in there and really experience what's going on. So, knowing that we're on a medium pattern, that's that 40 to 43 foot, actually 39 to 42 foot kind of area, we can go to our Arsenal construction sheet that we have here on the screen, and we can kind of put together what we're going to need based on layouts and surface and ball types, so we can build an arsenal for this event. So you can see, I'm just gonna, where to go here? Boop, there we go. So you can see the arsenal I'm taking down. The only thing that's not pictured there, I just recently added a new purple hammer. I had a 3.5-inch, a 3.5-inch 30-degree laid out one, and I've gone to a 5-inch by 35-degree valve, just so it's not quite as early, not quite as strong up front, but still reads good down lane. We'll get to that. We'll get to that stuff. So we're looking at benchmark ball, which is my Obsession Tour. It's the middle top row there. You can see that some people will call that pin down. I call that slow response. We're looking at a 50 by 4.5 by 75 layout at 2000 surface. It says solid symmetrical, yes. It's not often that you get an asymmetrical benchmark ball. This is why I'm using this. It allows me to control a little bit better how the ball is going to roll up. Especially since we can't have weight holes, I can, which I've done in this ball, swung the mass bias out. And the mass bias is actually on my valve line. So I'm going to get the same kind of response that I would get out of a ball that had a P2 or maybe even a P3 hole in it. So it's going to be smoother, a little bit more continuous. On from there, we have, I've also packed the speed here. Now you can see that layout for the speed. That's our ball up. It is 55 by 5.25 by 40 at 2,000, 3,000. This is a ball that we can change the surface on. That'll either allow us to put more surface on it to make it earlier, in case it's 41 feet and 40 units or something, or we can go the other way and take the surface up on it if we need to get down lane more. Say it's maybe only 22 or 23 units and we got to swing the lane with it. So it's kind of our ball that we could go either way. It could either be for the fresh or a ball up. From there, we've got my ball up, which is my 3 offset. I really like the motion on this ball. We've talked about it before. It's a different motion than any other ball, any other asymmetric that I have available to me. So I really like how continuous this ball is. I like the way that it reads down lane. It's something that I can throw with a flatter wrist to get some length, or I can get around it, kind of spin it, twirl it a little bit to get it to react a little bit more down lane. From there, our late hook. We got a Bigfoot. Absolutely. I'm going to get to that. Well, actually, why don't we do it right now? Vincent asked, could you explain ball up? Give me 1 second here. Just got to jump off over here for a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so a ball up. This is a ball that is going to be stronger than your benchmark ball. It's usually going to have more motion of where you want it on the lane. So it could be, in this instance, our ball up is going to be the same length, distance-wise, as our benchmark ball, but it's going to have much more motion. Much more motion. Think of it like, for you, Vincent, it would be like going from your command to your Paragon, or like Scoops going from, say, his purple hammer into, say, a Statement Pearl, something of that nature. So it's going to be one that is probably your strongest motion ball, the one that has the most lateral motion. Some people call it most hook. Your late hook is going to have not necessarily less hook than your ball up. It's just going to happen farther down the lane. It hooks later. So where my ball up has like a 2000 or 3000 surface on it, my late hook ball has a 4000 plus polish. So we're just changing where it hooks on the lane. My ball up may go 35 feet before it hooks. My late hook ball is going to go at least 40 feet before it hooks. So they're just going to hook in different places on the lane. You can see I've got a Black Widow here. Even though I am bringing a purple hammer with me, I just want a different look with urethane. Once again, it's another ball I can put a lot of surface on, and I can keep my angles pretty closed, which means playing straighter to the pocket rather than trying to hook the whole lane. It's something that's not going to hook a lot when it sees friction down lane, so I can control it. It has, in my experience, it has a faster hook than the purple, and it's much earlier. So it gives me two different looks. Let's go to the far right bottom. That is my 27-year-old Sapphire Zone. That is what I'm using for the burn. Now, normally we talk about on the burn here, we want something that is RG of 255 or higher, differential of 035 or less. However, every once in a while you can come across a ball such as a 27-year-old ball, something that's been, it's seen a lot of oil. The cover's pretty beat up on it. It gives me the opportunity to use a bit of a stronger core because the cover is so weak. And it matches up very well. I shot 278 with it on Monday. I was very happy with the way it rolled. As I was practicing on a 40-foot collegiate pattern, and as they broke down, I was able to get into that ball and just open the lane up really easily. So we've gone through the arsenal. We've talked about equipment quite a lot, and you can see how important the arsenal construction sheet is. It isn't a set in stone document. It's what I would call a living document. It's a baseline for you as a bowler. We've put in there rev dominant, speed dominant, matched. There are some things that could change those layouts slightly based on high tilt, low tilt, wood lanes, synthetic lanes, but for the most part, it's a place to start from. But what they don't tell you about is what are you supposed to eat before an event? What are you supposed to bring with you in your bag? What accessories are you supposed to bring? I'm going to show you what I bring. I just packed my bag for my tournament, so I thought I would show you everything what I bring with me pretty regularly, so you can see what you might want to bring with you on your next tournament. So first of all, I have my accessory bag here. This is a Turbo one. I got this at Bowl Expo, I think, in 2013 or 2014. You can actually get something incredibly similar to it from Eddie Bauer. It's just a hanging shower kit. So let's talk about some of the things that I bring with me. I'll take a few things out here. So I always have my tape. You can see that one's listed as silver thumb tape. I've got silver, white, black, blue. I keep all of my in-thumb tape in one spot. And I keep different kinds, different sizes. I use a lot of the slick tape in the front of my thumb to keep the slickness. Or I will use it to snug up a switch grip. If a switch grip is too loose, you can add a little bit of tape to snug it up so it fits and does not squeak or move inside your thumb. I also have my Turbo pre-cut tape. So these are the tape that I put on my thumb. Now, there are many different friction and matting types on tapes. You can get them so that they're very fast, very slippery, or have a very almost a matted feel to them, a very thick matted feel to be very slow. It depends on what kind of release you want, how fast or how slow you want your thumb to come out of the ball. I tend to like my thumb to come out fairly quickly, so I use logo tape most. But I do bring other types of tape with me. I have roll of logo tape in case I need it on my fingers, some slick tape. This I use both on my hand. I also use it if I have to wrap my fingers. If my fingers get cut up, I can wrap it. Thumb inserts. You see I use a switch grip. I carry a lot of thumbs with me. Yeah, I carry 6 thumbs. These are 4 of them. 3 of them are exactly the same, just in case something happens. It's my favorite thumb, so I make sure I always have my favorite fitting thumb. I have one that has a little bit less pitch in it, so my thumb doesn't exit as quickly. So if I need to hang on to the ball a little bit longer. I have one that has a little bit more pitch in it, so it comes off my hand faster, so I can't hang on to it at all. So if I need to speed up my release. And then I've got 2 oversized ones that are almost comically big. These 2, where I can almost, even though it's an oval thumb, I can almost twist the thumb all the way. Oh, there you go. I can almost twist the thumb all the way around because my thumb swells up. If you have switch grips, interchangeable thumbs, Ultimate, Joe Pros, whatever, always have multiple switch grips. Always have multiple thumbs with you. You never know when one's going to get broken or fall out. And it's really hard to bowl a tournament if you can't put your thumb in the ball. And a switch grip hole is larger than a gripping hole is allowed to be, so you don't want to be trying to use it. 3 switch grips, good, good. Now I also bring rosin bags and a puff ball to keep my hands dry, shoehorn, emery board, and nail clippers. You never know when you're going to break a nail. I have Scissors. A tape tool. Don't know if you've ever seen a tape tool before. This is the best thing you can buy for putting tape in. It makes it super easy. This is my first shoe brush. This is shoe brush number 1. I also have another one I keep on my bag. A roll of electrical tape, in case I've got to snug up a thumb slug. Gamer grip. This is from Turbo. It's a sticky, almost like a spider, or not, what do they call it? The tacky hand stuff. It dries it out so you don't sweat, makes them a little bit more tacky. So for you two-handers, or if you sweat a lot, it'll keep you from sweating. A shoe stone. Since you can't put powder on your feet, for you out there who are still doing it, stop it. It's against the rules. No baby powder on the floor. No rosin on the floor. Don't put it on your shoes. Stop it. I carry extra pens. You never know when someone's going to steal your pen or pencil for filling out stuff. I carry a lip chap. If your thumb gets really messed up and you can't do anything to your thumb, you can put a little bit of lip chap on your thumb, and it'll make it slippery for you so that your thumb can get out of the ball a little bit easier if you have an extreme swelling situation. Blistex. People don't realize Blistex has a little bit of a, what's it called? Topical in it. So if you put it on your thumb, it'll actually bring down a little bit of swelling in it. It's also good for your mouth. Keeps your lips, like, kissable. You got a face like this, you got to make the lips good. Then, tools. I always bring tools with me in case I've got to work on my thumb. I'm always tinkering with my fit, so I always bring tools with me. You switch grip people. The 2 most important tools you can have. The switcheroo. So if you have a really good tight thumb, this will allow you to get it clicked in. And if you have a really good tight thumb, the jack. People never buy these, and this is such an important tool. Ask Scoops. This goes into the bottom of the hole underneath the grip through it, so you can actually get a click on it and pull it out with some force without using your thumb. My backpack. You can see right off the bat I have a fan to keep me cool. Another shoe brush. Shoe brushes get stolen all the time, so I always keep a couple of them. I am a fat guy with a bald head, so I keep towels to get the sweat off me. Remember that you can't use the same towel on your ball as you do on your head. That's illegal. So I keep extra towels with me. I got my shoes in my awesome shoe covers. They're like disco ball. Are those not amazing? Available from Laneside Pro Shop. Because they're custom. There's only one other pair available in the world right now, so. Knee brace. Even if you don't have knee problems, if you have a good fitting knee brace, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, but you never know when you're going to slip, you're going to fall, something's going to happen. Keeping a knee brace with you for your slide leg is never a bad idea, even if it's just a compression. I've had 8 knee surgeries, so I've got a Donjoy web here. Just gives me a little bit more stability if I'm having knee problems. Shoe stuff with all of my different heels and sliders. Good Lord. A lighter. Keep a lighter with you. They're good for getting strings off of things. You can burn polyester strings. They'll actually melt up and self-steel. So if you've got like a run going in a jersey or in your pants, a lighter can help. Also safety pins. I keep my league identification card for CTF. Also my USB-C one in my bag. So if anyone needs to see my information, I have it. I've got my strategy card. This is the card that I shared on Facebook. It's got all of the different plays, all of the different ideas, what you should do while you're bowling, so that I can remind myself if I ever forget or if I'm really out of sorts. More braces, forearm and wrist. You never know when something's going to happen, so I always keep a couple of braces with me. You don't want to have to pull out of a tournament unless you absolutely have to. Headband, because once again, I'm a fat, sweaty guy. Pads. Now, Scoops is really, really smart, and he bought a CD case and put all of his pads so he could nicely and neatly store them and categorize them. Scoops is smart. Scoops also got one of those for me, and I gotta put him in still. But pads, I keep at least one of each grit, everything from 360 up to 5,000 with me. Same thing, I will also take polish with me. Can't really see these because they're green, of course. Alcohol swabs. Alcohol swabs, when you're putting on tape on your hand, if you take the time to clean your hand with an alcohol swab and let it dry, you will get a great deal more adhesion to your skin. So if you have sweaty hands and it tends to pull off very easily, or you sweat and it starts to pull off, by using an alcohol swab, it'll stick better. It also, when you put alcohol on your skin like that, it tends to keep it from sweating. So it has two purposes. And last but not least, whoop, you can kind of see it. This is my FMP, my field message pad, with my brother's. Now it is mine. This is where I write down all of my information, my notes, for when I'm bowling. So on there, you could see I had my games, where I was standing, if I made a move, why I made the move, what I saw, hand position, what ball I was throwing. Like say this is last night. So you can see I started with my Obsession Tour, I made some changes, moved into my pink. I could see that the lanes were starting to change, one was hooking more than the other. This way, whenever I was going up to a shot, I could remind myself exactly what I have been doing, what I need to do, and what I'm supposed to concentrate on. So that way, whenever I make a shot, I am living in the moment. I am only concentrating on that shot. Last. This is something that not a lot of people do. My national team does it. I would recommend it to every bowler, no matter where you're bowling, but especially in tournaments, taking notes. It doesn't have to be a lot of notes, doesn't have to be a big booklet, but just being able to jot down information to remind yourself. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of moving around, going lane to lane. There's a lot of information that you've got to track. If I was going lane to lane with this, I might run down to my next pair and look at a bowler who is bowling well and look at where they start and then run down towards the end of the game and see if they've moved, see if their feet have moved. And I'll make a note of it so that when I come to that pair, I can say, okay, this person moved 2 boards right. They changed balls. They moved 10 boards left. They, this, that, or the other thing. So that I have a better idea when I get to that lane of what I need to do to start scoring right away. Lastly, and this is one that always gets me. Food. I am terrible for this. I really am. I admit it. I admit it. I used to, before I'd go and bowl, I would eat a big proteiny meal with lots of meaty meat and have myself a good time, and then go to bowl, and I'd be logy and I'd feel tired and heavy and just, blah. Well, there's actually science to this. Go figure. So for food guides, meals prior to competition, you should try to have your big meal 3 to 4 hours before you bowl, so you have a chance to digest it. Have yourself something small, a snack, 2 to 3 hours before you bowl. Try to have, liquid food an hour before you bowl. High carb, low protein, low fat. As somebody who works out a lot, high carb, low protein is always scary to me, but what you're doing is you're feeding your body. You're making sure that your body, while it's digesting, has a lot of energy available to your muscles, so you don't get tired, you don't get sore, you don't get stiff. When you add a lot of protein and a lot of fat, it takes a lot more energy for your body to digest it, so you're losing energy, but it also makes you tired. Literally tired. So high carb, but not super high sugar. You don't want to eat a ton of candy. High carb, low protein, low fat. Pasta's awesome. Trail mix, so good. Nothing spicy. Nothing super fibery. You don't want to have to go use the toilet while you're bowling. No gas producing. No crop dusting the lanes. I'm looking at you, Nick. So I like to share this. I like to share this with all of my athletes because this can honestly be the difference between winning and losing. Between having the energy to bowl well games 6, 7, and 8, or just running out of gas. Being sore when you go into match play, or never even making match play, or performing in match play. You can see here fluid guides, drink how much water, making sure that you're drinking lots of water before competition. About 17 ounces 2 hours before competition, 8 to 16 ounces 30 minutes before competition, but then monitoring and replacing fluids as you sweat during the event. So not making yourself so full of water that you can't perform or you got to pee a lot. Here's another very important one. While traveling, everyone forgets this. Drink water. Please don't drink a lot of pop. If you're flying someplace, don't drink a lot of pop. Don't drink a lot of coffee or tea. It's going to make you, the caffeine is going to work on your body. It's actually a diuretic, so it makes you flush water. It'll dehydrate you rather than hydrate you. Sugary pop, you're going to burn through energy. You're going to get a sugar high and then a drop, so we don't like that. These are things that can make you a champion. Let's go back to the questions here. I need to pick up one of those shoe rocks next time I see you. You got it. Yeah, definitely no powder. Please, people, no powder. No powder. There's one last thing that you should do to prepare for a tournament, and that's tell yourself to go have a good time. A lot of people get so wrapped up in things. You get so far inside their heads. They have to win. People are going to think I'm no good if I don't win. People are going to laugh at me. People are going to make fun of me. Whatever. Get out of your own heads. Bowling is a game. It's a sport, but it's a game. It's fun. Go and enjoy yourself. If you're going to go out there and throw 120 and you're a 200 average bowler, then own it. Have yourself a good time. What can you do about it? Right? You can't do anything at the event. Obviously, you need to learn from that and make sure it doesn't happen again, but you still got to go and have a good time. The more that you get inside your own head, the more you tell yourself you can't or you have to, the harder it is to perform. You can ask Scoops. When he goes to a tournament, it is somebody's job to keep Nick out of his own head. And we're not saying this is a bad thing, but he is a very, very critical of his own performance because he knows that he's very good. I mean, Nick's got like 6 or 8 or 10 300s. Like, Nick is a very, very good bowler. But sometimes we start micro-analyzing everything in our own heads, and we lose the big picture looking at the little itty-bitty parts. So, you know, somebody has to be there to just make sure he has a good time. Make sure that he doesn't get too worried about things. I am also very much the same way. I love going with someone else when I go to tournaments. I may never talk to them, but having them there gives me somebody I can bounce ideas off of, somebody who can, you know, if I'm looking frustrated, can try to get me out of my own head. It's an important job of a coach. I know coaching youth at the provincial level, sometimes my job is to talk wrestling because I need them to not concentrate so much on bowling. I need them to get out of their own head. I'll sit there and I'll talk about SmackDown or mostly Dynamite, I'll be honest. I'm an AEW guy. But I'll spend a time, and that's just what I do, is just talk wrestling to get the person to stop micromanaging. So go and have a good time. Have a plan, but accept that you're there to bowl and you can't control everything. I'll relax, allow yourself to compete, and have fun. You never know. It's a bit of a downer, but you never know when your last tournament is. Okay, 5 years ago, I figured I would bowl every tournament that came up. 5 years from now, 5 years later, I've got way more stuff on my plate. I do coaching, I have a shop, I do the show, I do so many things. I don't compete as much as I used to. So I had to make a plan to go and have a good time. Enjoy the time you have. Enough of that. On to some fun stuff. Can we stop having other people set unreasonable expectations for us? I show up on Wednesdays where they think we're 190 average bowlers. You have to accept... you have to look at it more of the concept of the league, though. Our Wednesday league, the one that Vincent's talking about, is our Premier League. It is supposed to be our Premier League, what we call our men's majors. It's supposed to be the best of the best of the best bowlers. There used to be an average minimum on it to join the league. I think we give out, on a regular year, we give out $15,000 or $20,000 or $30,000, I think, in prizes for that league. It's a very high-end league. So people do tend to have a little bit different expectation on all bowlers. But Vincent is very right. Not every bowler is a pro. Not every bowler wants to be a pro. Not every bowler will be a pro. So you have to remember to have realistic expectations of yourself and of others. You got a great point there, Vincent. Putting those kind of putting expectations on other people, saying you have to bowl something, is just as bad as you doing it to yourself. You're putting a step in between your brain doing what it's supposed to, what it knows it's supposed to, and you thinking about what you're supposed to do. You're activating your medulla oblongata. And that's going to make you angry, like the alligator, because he got all them teeth and no toothbrush. So let's talk about some new releases. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, hold on, I'm going back. I'm already beating myself up. No need to beat me up at the same time. Yeah. And you shouldn't be beating yourself up. So many bowlers are so hard on themselves. We are honestly some of our own worst critics. We, as athletes, sometimes think that everyone is watching us. Everyone is watching our every move, and people are there to laugh at us or to ridicule us. In actuality, even the people who are performing are still worried that people are looking at them and are gonna, for the most part, are gonna make fun of them. There is a real self-esteem issue in bowling, and I think it's from years of us as a sport being very self-deprecating. We've allowed ourselves to be portrayed as fat, uneducated, unathletic, slovenly, gross, when in fact bowlers come from every walk of life, from every level of intelligence. Anyone can bowl. It is an incredible sport because anyone who can pick up a ball or push a ball off a ramp can bowl. Anybody. Now, to the level that you want to bowl, that takes dedication, that takes time and practice, and not everyone wants to be a professional bowler. When I was, I guess, 33, 34, I was coming back to the sport. I had left for a few years. I had other businesses. I'd been running a bowling center in another town, so I didn't have time to really bowl and stuff. I enjoyed bowling, but I was a 180, 190 average, kind of off to the side, semi-casual, semi-competitive bowler. I have spent the last 10 years and probably close to 20,000 hours. I would say probably 5 to 8 hours a day, every day for the last decade, doing something associated with bowling. Practicing, reading, watching videos, coaching, drilling, taking classes. Nobody, let's be honest, nobody has time for that. I am afforded that a little bit because of my disability. I'm unable to work a regular job. Fibromyalgia is a terrible thing. Anyone who has fibromyalgia or who has family who has fibromyalgia knows that you can look like everything's fine one day and the next day you can be bedridden. I have been blessed with the time to do a lot of research on it as well, on diet, on exercise, on ways to manage it. And there are still days that I end up in bed, for 2 or 3 days because I can't move. It happens. But because of that, I've been afforded the time to become a bit of a, I want to say a small encyclopedia, because if we talk about encyclopedias of bowling knowledge, then the only real Britannica set out there would have been Mo. So I'm just a small reference guide. But same here. Scoops old lady average 190. It's not always on purpose. You're in the ball review, Scoops. Yeah. As you know what, as humans too, we often, especially in today's society, a lot of our self-esteem is tied to what we believe or what we perceive others see us as. And here's a revelation for everybody. Everybody has a screwed up life. Everybody has issues going on. Everybody is hoping that no one else is watching. It's what life is right now. There's a saying, dance like nobody is watching, bowl like nobody's watching. What are they going to tell you? You're doing it wrong? It's your style. There are ways to do your style more efficiently, repeat your style better, many things, but it's still your style. No one can tell you that what you're doing is wrong. I wholeheartedly have always endorsed that bowling is an expression of individuality, and that if you are stymieing or stifling how someone wants to do it, then you're not allowing them to truly experience the sport. And you know what? Just as a side note, that is also what keeps some people from competing in tournaments. Some people are very good in one bowling center and struggle in another. Might be different lanes, different approaches, many different things. So they don't perform to what they believe they should be performing at. And that scares them away from bowling at other tournaments, bowling in other houses. We should all just bowl. The more people that bowl, the better we can all be. So, back to the new releases. New releases! So, on our last episode, we talked about the Sneak Attack and the Power Torque Pearl that was coming out. And a lot of you who were on the show said that you were very interested in seeing what else was coming out. Far be it from me to take that away from you, the viewer. So I scoured the internet. And I got you all the new releases as of 2 days ago. These are all of the new releases that have been currently announced. Now, this list will probably grow as we go into Bowl Expo. And some of these are definitely overseas releases. So you can see here we've got 900 Global with the Cruise line, Cruise Blackberry. That's going to be an overseas release. That is a line, the Cruise, and I believe... well, we'll see a few from that Storm conglomerate that are specifically overseas releases. The Zen Soul was released, I believe, for sale this week, but announced was the new Burner Hybrid, the new Honey Badger Extreme Blow. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that one's probably going to be an international release. We have the Reality Solid coming to replace the Reality that we lost, and the new Zen Azura. I'm going to say that one's probably an overseas release as well. Now, that Honey Badger could be a North American release. It could be the replacement for the Wolverine. But I feel like in looking at the other ones that have the Extreme to them, they were international releases. Over for Storm, we've got the Zero Parallax and the Code Master. Those are going to be overseas releases. The Electrify Gold Orange, I believe, is going to be North American. That will have the same core that the Electrify has. The new Ghost Lock, pretty sure is overseas. We lost... one of the realities was banned. I think it was the Altered Reality, is on the 6-ball USB-C list. We also have the new IQ Tour Dark Green. Now, I'm really, really hoping this is North American. I'm hoping that they're just releasing a new IQ Tour, and they just colored it dark green. Because all the other IQs go overseas, especially to Japan, like the red urethane. And it would be nice to see a new IQ come out. Infinite Physics, probably overseas release. The Night Road. The Night Road. Not sure if that's going to be overseas. And then the Phase X, which I believe is going to be replacing the Phase 4. Over with 900 Global, we've got a lot of Hustles coming out. The Hustle Royal Navy, the Hustle Chile, and the Hustle USA. So I'm going to assume those are color combinations, like red, white, and blue, and whatever the Chilean flag is. I apologize, I do not know. Let's find out. Chile flag is also red, white, and blue, but in a different configuration. That's funny. We've also got the Gem Hybrid. The Gem Solid has been very, very popular for Rotogrip, so seeing a hybrid come out is not really a surprise. The Hyper Attention is probably going to be overseas. And then a new Idol, Idol Cosmos and Rubicon Booster. So that is the Storm family. Over here in Swag, we got the Big Bro, Big Guns, yeah! and the Incredible Giant. Those two were just announced. And just released was the Black Pearl Treasure, the Buzzer Beater, and the Joker Maniac. The only releases for the Brunswick brands that are on there are overseas releases with the Black Widow Real Monster Solid. That's that bluish black teal Black Widow. And the Ultima Pearl, as well as the N Valkyrie from Brunswick. So, you know, 1 or 2 releases. I think this list is going to get very large very shortly, because we're only... Good heavens, we're only 20. We're only a month and 20 days away from Bowl Expo, where we get all of the new releases announced, all the fun stuff. Hopefully I'm going to be there. Oh, yes. And speaking of new releases, we had a chance this week to go and shoot the videos for the new Envision and the new Kinetic Black Ice. Thought, because we love you here on the Drill Room, we thought we would give you an exclusive first look at a couple of strikes. You can see that this Envision is going to be strong. They talk about it being not quite as strong as the Polaris, but this thing really reads, for a solid ball, has a lot of down lane read. I honestly thought it was going to be much sooner and be more benchmarkish, but you could see it's got a lot of motion down lane. As for the Kinetic Black Ice, this is one of those balls that we would throw in the late hook section. And just because it is a late hook does not mean it does not hook. Baby's got some performance. Oh, I was the only one who didn't strike. It's like we put up real shots and stuff. Yeah, these videos should be out Friday, Saturday, or Sunday this week. I think you're really going to like them. We unfortunately did not get the damn good Verge Pearl. It was sent out to us, but Customs ate it. They literally took it. They released the other 2 balls, but would not give us this one. So when we do get it, we will add it to the list. We do have more balls coming. Look at the way that ball read and then rolled forward. Very impressed with the performance on that Envision. But you'll see more of that and how we compared it to our benchmark coming up. Look at the old guy here. That's a lot of motion for our speed dominant player. That thing's got a lot of hook. Ton of hook. Me likey. Yes, I know you like it, Scoops. All right, so we've covered all of the fun stuff. Let's go question hunting, as we always do. We get letters. We get tons and tons of email. So I'm going to head over here. We got a nice message from, and I want to make sure this is correct, Gordon L. on Reddit, who wanted to let us know that they really liked the Phase 2. We talked about that over the last few shows. We talked about the Phase 2 Storm's benchmark ball, and he was just letting us know that he really, really liked it. And don't forget, you can post all of your comments, any questions or anything. You can go over to r/Laneside Reviews, join up and post any comments, any questions that you have there right on the episodes as we post them. Over on YouTube, one thing I wanted to mention, a lot of people have talked about, when I talked about the Sure D, the hardness tester, but it not working, what I meant was it doesn't work in the way they want it. It's not an absolute number. There's too much variance for it scientifically to be accepted as conclusive proof. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means it doesn't work for the purpose of what they want. So I want to clear that up because I got a lot of comments about that. Somebody asked if we could include some surface changes to show the differences in bowling balls. We might be able to do something about that. We might be able to do something. Bowl Expo is BPAA. Yes, I know Bowl Expo is BPAA, but they also have a lot of the USBC stuff that goes on there. A lot of meetings and all sorts of crazy stuff. So yes, it is a BPAA event, but there's tons of USBC stuff that goes on during Bowl Expo. Somebody posted on the spy. Forget playing the gutter. I ended up throwing my spy on the third arrow, swinging it out toward the 7 board. Somebody got some burnt lanes. That's a lot of motion for a spy. Don't get that. Corbin posted, don't get that hate amongst brands. I've had little luck throwing Storm stuff, so I don't throw it. I don't hate them, but I'll explain why I don't buy it to anyone who asks. He gets it. Throw the balls that work best for your game, okay? I have thrown Storm stuff before. I've talked about this. I threw my 800, my 821. I threw that with a, well, what's it called? Nike Fusion. I don't hate Storm equipment. It just doesn't match up to my stuff. Brunswick equipment matches up 99.9% of the time, matches up to my game. So that's why I throw it. Yeah, I don't get the hate either. Tyler Good posting in here about completely agree with changing up house shots. I think, especially if you have multiple centers in your town, having multiple house shots means that you're really going to be able to see what your skill level is and really work on different things. Joshua, you can't take my favorite bowling show down to once per week. I know, I'm sorry. Over the summer, there just isn't as much stuff to cover. And I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. As I said, I'm going to be spending a week at Kegel. I've got Bowl Expo coming up. I've got the World Championships coming up in Alabama. I got a lot of travel coming up. So I want to make sure that I can still broadcast to you and give you some awesome stuff, but I don't want to just give you drivel. I don't want to give you a show just for the sake of having a show. I want you to enjoy it and learn something from it. Also, can you go over skip sanding again and what exactly it does? So, when you sand a ball, you create some very specific peaks, so tops and valleys. You get points, okay, like little mountains, little teepees. Okay, you can get really thin ones or you can get really thick ones. When you when you regularly sand, you are slowly breaking those peaks and valleys down to one uniform height. When you skip sand, you are just knocking off a certain amount of the top, but not changing the depth of the valley or the width of the actual peak itself. You're just chopping off the top. So, very common one is 500 2000, 500 3000. The 500 grit is very, very tall, deep peaks and valleys. When you skip sand it with a 2000 or 3000, you're now creating little itty bitty peaks and valleys on the top of those peaks and valleys. So you're not as deep, but you end up with more of them. So you can, when you properly skip sand, you can get the best of the lower grit, but without it burning out as much energy. Mo used to do this all the time. Hit it with 500, 1,000, and then skip a couple of grits, go to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, so that you could create just a little bit more distance before the ball started to really hook. And it can be quite dramatic. If you take a regular 500 grit ball, and then hit it with a 4,000 pad, you can add a couple of feet without changing really the way the ball is going to react overall, but just change a little bit of difference. And that can be huge, especially when you've got very very strong front ends, or you need the ball to read a lot, but you don't want it to read right away. So it's something that I recommend playing with. A lot of my urethane I'll skip sand with. For instance, my purple I just added to my bag, it is at 400, 1,000. So I've skipped 400, 800. I take it to 1,000. And I might even go 362,000, depending on when I get to my tournament I'm going to. If I need it to use a little more, if I need it to use more energy, but still have some distance, I might hit it and make that skip sand even wider. So I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna write down that maybe that's a good idea for a show. I can do some skip sanding tutorial for y'all. Skip sand tutorial and sanding distance change. Because I can do both of those on the lanes at the same time. I see two things that happen with durometer gate. Balls will be manufactured a lot harder. Agreed. In order for a durometer reading to never read below the minimum hardness, and durometer readings removed as a ball spec. And we have to go back to having balls of any hardness. I think they're going to have to come up with something better. This is from Super Blitz, by the way. Thank you. I think they're going to have to come up with a better way to measure them. Otherwise, you're right. To make sure they don't go under 73, you're going to see a lot of them coming out at 74, 75, 76, so that the variance that can happen doesn't make them illegal. How about adjusting procedures? Now, see, Flitch, that's a very good point. When USB-C gets these balls, and I'd forgotten about this when I talked about it a few episodes ago. When the USB-C gets these balls, they sand them before they test them. So it very well could be these balls that Storm had a problem with. It was actually something with the polish rather than the ball itself that has made them illegal. Which is why Storm is completely, if you look, they've completely abandoned polish in their entire line. Nothing but surface now. Bowling XP, if you do a urethane test, please add some of the modern balls that they call urethane. We do have some of the tanks and stuff. I would love to get my hands on some of that micropolymer, the motive stuff. If anybody has some that they are willing to part with so that we can add it to the great urethane, what would you call it, shootout? Great urethane shootout? Please let us know. You can send them through to us, and we'll do something for you for helping out the show. Yeah, purple tank, pitch black. We've got, I think we have 10 different hammers to test, and 4 different Black Widows. Love to have a pitch black in there. I think we have access to a fast pitch. Love to see the motive stuff. Yeah, if you guys have anything that you'd like to send to the show, please contact us, lanesidereviews@live.com, and let us know. Kyle B. talking about episode 19. Belmo actually cares about the sport. USB-C does not. It does seem that way, doesn't it? Yes, Flitch, like homeowners associations, other organizations can fall into being cliques. Yep, that definitely does happen. Yes, Bowling XP, we talked about that. Yeah, the durometer just shows that there's a variation, and there's too much variation. Acceptable scientifically is like 1%, and the variation on bowling balls is in the 19 to 20% range. That's a lot. That's a lot. My local bowling alley, Scotty Thompson. My local bowling alley in Superior, Wisconsin, where I live. Lanes get stuck all the time. That happens. I know. It stinks. I hate when my equipment gets stuck down there. Tapadat, I think Jason will be okay. Just because he has lots of money doesn't mean he's going to be okay. But I do hear what you're saying. I think he'll be okay. So yeah, that's a lot of questions. Do we have any? Let me switch back over here. Do we have any questions going on over here? New fit tight thumb 613 tonight. Still got to work on relaxing the hand. Nice. Any advice to relax your hand? Yeah. What I do when I get into my shot is I get my hand in, and I always, it sounds funny, when you put your thumb in the ball, a lot of people will put it in and they'll grip their fingers and they'll grip their thumb, and then they'll relax their hand. I try to make sure I relax my thumb right off the bat. And when I set up, the last thing I do is I try to relax my whole shoulder, my wrist, my hand, everything. I just literally breathe in, breathe out, and try to put all the tension out of my body. Fit will take a little bit of time to get used to. Looks like 613 is good. Nice shooting there. The other thing you can do is take your bowling ball home, get it on some carpet, and practice releasing it with your hand relaxed. Try to get it off your hand. The way your ball should fit, you should be able to hold it on your hand without it falling off, but with any movement, any pressure, any flicking, it should fall off. So adjust your tape that way to make sure that it feels that comfortable. And then go and practice just spinning it off your hand, your different releases. You know, forward, a little side, whatever. Practice it over and over. But do it while your hand's relaxed so that you can feel it. A lot of people think that you got to go to the bowling center only to practice. Oftentimes, I will go to the bowling center just to practice score or to practice certain skill-related things. When I go to practice things like throwing the ball a lot, adding strength, working on release many times, I go in my backyard, or to a park, or to carpet. You can throw a lot more shots when you don't have to wait for the ball to come back. You can do 20, 30 shots in the time you'd bowl a game, so you can get that repetition and that muscle memory a lot easier. The ball does exactly that, no tape. So here's something to think about. You may not suffer from this, but I always tell people, and this is something I learned very early, I try to keep at least, my perfect fit has 4 to 6 pieces of tape in my thumb. I also have a lot of hand swelling. My thumb, when I start bowling, will be very small and it'll swell up and then it'll go down again. During the winter. During the summer, my thumb starts huge and then just shrinks. So I make sure there's enough room in my thumb hole that I can get my thumb in there with one piece of tape at its biggest, and then however many I need when it's at its smallest. Because you don't want to go to a tournament and have your thumb swell up and not be able to get your hand into the ball. That's going to suck. So you want a little bit of room that you can take some tape out or put some tape in and not mess with how comfortable it is. I can see by the clock that it's 9:30. I assume Swag, Big Brother Lane Masters aren't in Canada because I haven't heard of them before. No. They are a direct order company. They don't go through a lot of, they don't go through, whoa, no! They don't go through the regular distributors around here. I know you can hear me. Tommy, can you see me? Tommy, can you hear me? I'm just a pinball wizard. yeah, make sure that you've got room in there so that when your thumb is at its biggest, you've got a little bit of playroom. That's if you have if you have swelling in your hand. If your hand never swells, go to town, do whatever. But for me personally, because I have a lot of hand swelling issues, I always make sure that I've got at least 4 pieces of tape in one of those thumbs. Having said that, if you go back and look at my 6 thumbs that I had, some of them have no tape in them. Like my gigantic one, because then I can put the tape where I need it depending on where my thumb is fat on the day. That's a little bit extra technical. Any other questions out there? Oh, I think everybody... 80 please. 80 please what? I don't remember. Uh-oh. Anyway, it's after 9:30, which means we're going to start wrapping this show up. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Great talking with everybody. Great seeing everybody out here. It's always wonderful to have all of you out here on the show. Don't forget that we will replay this show tomorrow on YouTube. Show's always available the next day on YouTube. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe all of our videos. Put comments in it. The more you interact, the more that you share and subscribe, the better we do, the more that we can do. Don't forget, we were trying to get to 40% subscribed. We're really, really close right now. So if you could please make sure that you subscribe. When we get to 40%, we're giving away some more stuff. We have mailed out the poster for Legend BC, who won our totally free, just for subscribing to Twitch contest. The awesome blue Parker Bone III autographed poster. And, 80 Dura, okay. So please make sure you like and subscribe. If we get to 40% on YouTube, we're going to give away more stuff. Like I said, we've got 20 jerseys I want to give away. These are tournament jerseys, video used jerseys. They'll all be autographed and sent out to you guys. We have tons of stuff that we want to give away. But we can only do that if you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. If anyone is interested, this summer we're going to be doing, if we get enough people interested who want to come up here, we'll do some coaching clinics, either here in Toronto or in Barrie. Or if you're in the US and looking for a local coaching clinic, you can contact us at lanesidereviews@live.com, and potentially myself and Scoops can come down and do some coaching for you and your fellow bowlers. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I'm old. I don't know all the social media platforms. I'm sorry. Instagram. You can follow Scoops on Plenty of Fish and Grindr and Bumble, and I think we're gonna open an account on Farmers Only, cause Nick and Mrs. Nick need somebody to do the windows for them. They need another wife. They need somebody who can do their laundry and do the windows and do the cooking so that Scoops can relax and live the high life. But in all seriousness, if you're looking for coaching for your local league, your local bowlers, we are available to book. We can come. I know myself, I am. Scoops might be available as well. You never know. We can come to your local bowling center, or you can come to us for a one-on-one, group, or entire, like, large setting coaching. You too can be coached by a national coach from Team Canada. If you're looking for equipment, don't forget this summer you can contact us and you can come up and visit us here at Laneside Pro Shop. We can drill just for you and give you some lessons. And we're still going to have lots of reviews and lots of shows coming up. But to do that, we've got to go away. So I'm sorry to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. We love you all. Keep your ball on the lanes, knock down pins, and join us here next Thursday on the Drill Room. Until next time, we'll see you Laneside.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you Laneside.